John Brenner here with MMA Tee Company. I have Strictly Business Christian Carr on the other end of this Skype interview. Christian, how you doing today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, can't complain. Usually I'd like to do these interviews in person, but with the times that we're in, I figured it'd be best to do a Skype interview. So before we get into it too far, just let me know like what you're up to, how you've been staying busy, what you've been doing since we haven't been in the gym.
Yeah. I don't know. Just been getting outside a lot. Trying to get little workouts in. I have a wrestling mat in my basement. My brother and I are still hitting pads and stuff, getting some good workouts in. But I know it's been a little weird. Like the other day I went out on a 10-mile run. I don't think I've ever done that before, just because I didn't have anything else to do. So yeah, I don't know. Just trying to stay busy with everything that's going on, whether it's like listen to a good podcast that keeps me motivated, keeps me from dragging. But yeah, just staying busy.
And talking about podcasts, what kind of podcasts do you listen to? Who's your go-to when you throw them on?
I don't listen to a ton. I listen to Jocko's all the time though. I can listen to that dude all the time. But
Yeah, a
episode
lot of
89,
guys in.
if you haven't seen it, you got to watch episode 89. It's one bad dude
Jocko
on there.
Jocko podcast episode 89. I'll jump into that right after we get off this call. Cool. And I saw, we've been talking about it a little bit, that you've been doing some rock climbing. So I know that you started, in the Nook where you work, and I've seen that you've been outside, rock climbing a couple different places. So, tell me about that. What got you into rock climbing, and how do you progress through that?
Okay, so yeah, working at the Nook, I see it there all the time. It looks cool. My buddy Brandon, shout out Brandon Grease. Actually, the one day he started doing it, I knew him for like a month or so, and he asked me to come out. So, fun fact: rock climbing in a rock gym is really tiring on your forearms. So the first time we went, we were supposed to go on Wednesday, and then we were going to go Friday. But he's in the National Guard, so he got called. So he had like his drill on Friday. So we went Wednesday, Thursday, and I woke up from a nap on Thursday, and I couldn't close my hands because my forearms were so burnt out. But since then, the muscle endurance has built a little bit. But it's a ton of fun. I know it's something different. It gives me a good kind of like a full body workout. Works my core real good. Works my forearms, my grip strength, and it's just different. It's a little bit of a step away from trying to mangle people all the time, because I mean that's pretty much what goes on for the rest of the days.
Good. And then speaking of mangling people, I wanted to get into that side of your brain a little bit anyway. So you and I, we've been training together probably since you're 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
And you're just about to be 21, so that's about, 6 years, something like that. What really got you into Gracie 717 in the first place? What made you want to come into the gym?
So pretty much I started wrestling when I was 4. I kind of got my foot in the door. I wrestled for about 6-7 years, and then I took a couple years off actually, and then I was working at this summer camp in the Poconos called Twin Pines, and they had a martial arts camp there. I just enjoyed a little bit of what we were doing there, and then my brother and I we were just getting into it at the house, playing UFC, and then trying the moves we saw on TV on each other. And so I just looked up the closest jiu-jitsu school and started doing jiu-jitsu when I was 14, and picked up kickboxing when I was 15. Was wrestling through high school, and then kind of just put it all together. I think it was my sophomore year I had my first kickboxing fight, and between my junior and senior year I had my first MMA fight.
Awesome. And I've kind of got to see it, as you're coming up through. You started as the young kid in the gym, and people would rag on you and, give you heck for, being the younger guy. And now I think a lot of people are turning to you for advice, seeing you having your successes in MMA kickboxing, jiu-jitsu tournaments. So what has that transition been like for you as, coming from that younger kid to now someone that people look to for that training advice and for that motivation?
Yeah, it's funny. Really, this year everybody's been kind of been saying, "Oh, I remember when you were a little kid," type of thing. But yeah, it's fun. I really enjoy the transition where it's not just I'm that little kid. Like they can come and ask me stuff, because I don't know, I feel like I learn a lot through coaching people. So like if I have to explain a move to you that that I do, and I like kind of like do some things without being conscious of it. When I have to break it down for somebody is when I can find those little pieces that I don't notice I do, but I can recognize them in those positions, and then I can implement them even better in the moment because I know that's part of that sequence now. So it helps me out in the long run, and the better my training partners are, the better I'm going to be getting. So if I catch somebody with something and I show them how to defend it, and I can never hit that on them again, I know it's helping me. So yeah, I enjoy it all.
Sure, and that obviously makes you better as a fighter, and then also better as a coach because you have to now find new ways for yourself to apply those transitions and submissions to your training partners. So everyone kind of gets better through that process. Now you've been coaching kickboxing for a little under a year, right? That pretty regularly that you've been helping out.
A little bit more than that, maybe like a year and a half.
Okay.
I've been coaching a couple times a week, but a little bit more over this past year, definitely.
Sure. And with that coaching in kickboxing, have you seen a little bit of yourself, in your students, or have you kind of noticed that they take it and run with it under their own kind of style?
I mean, yeah, certain things, but I try to tell the people I'm teaching. I mean, I'm not the best kickboxer or anything, but I'm gonna tell them what worked for me, and I'm like, listen, like if this isn't really your style, try it out for me. If you like it, throw it in the toolbox. But if you don't, then it's not your move. But I try my best to keep everything I'm coaching pretty versatile, whether it's the basics or I'm showing a little something I like to do that's a little tricky. But yeah, there's a little something in it for everybody, and you can kind of twist and turn it your own way. I like to show little stuff I do and tell them why I do it, and I don't know, being brought up by my coaches and stuff, those little things, and then being told why they do it and why it's like good, just kind of like push me to want to do it that way. Like if I'm throwing a switch kick and I'm taking my step outside to cut off on the angle, because it's going to help me cut them off, then I'm going to want to do that instead of stepping up and throwing a switch from my stance. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, just try to put little picks in their brain that were put into mine, which kind of helped me gather all the information.
Got you. And you said something earlier, a little bit of if there's a little bit of flair or whatnot in the style that you bring. From us training together, I know that your style is a little bit more flashy than mine. You like sometimes using the lower percentage, higher risk moves, and you hit them a lot on a lot of people in the gym. Where do you kind of draw that inspiration from? Where do you pull the ideas from to have the style that you have, which is that I wouldn't even say flashy because you do a lot of things with good basics, but you like those higher risk movements that pay off for you a lot of the times.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, even like through wrestling in high school, I just kind of let loose, and you kind of just go with it. I mean, nobody really likes losing or anything, but if I'm losing, I'll like want to be getting my butt kicked, So like in wrestling, I'd be going for big moves, whether it's a big match or a small match. I'm going for big stuff. I mean, there's some times I got thrown on my back and stuff, and we fought out of those. I remember one match, I had this kid who beat me in the league tournament, and my brother was making fun of me a bunch for it. And I wrestled him at the sectional tournament. I was up 12-0, and Josh wasn't there for it. And I was like, oh, I got to tech this kid so I can tell him about it. So I tried real hard to turn him and get that last 3 points, and I put myself right on my back. And I ended up winning by like 10 points or something, but I almost cost myself the match just because I was trying to cap something off because my brother was making fun of me a couple weeks before. So I don't know. I mean, it's all fun. I like being entertaining. I don't know. Somebody's got to do it, and I'm willing to be that guy.
Got you. So in terms of your mentality when you're training, when you're fighting, you said somebody's got to be that guy, somebody's got to do it. When you're in a fight camp, do you still go for those high or low percentage movements or low percentage finishes, the high risk ones, when you're preparing for a fight, as opposed to when you're just training day to day and don't have anything coming up?
I mean, there's some stuff that I'll keep doing. There's like sometimes when somebody's sitting on their butt trying to get me to pass their guard, I'll like throw my head between their legs into a somersault over them. I won't do that when I'm training for like a real fight, but I do when I'm screwing around with my buddies, you know. But yeah, little goofy stuff like that I'll take out. But like, I mean, if when it comes down to throwing like spin kicks or like spinning techniques and stuff, I mean, I'm drilling them because I'm trying to make them better. You know, I feel like even like through like my wrestling, I was always like a big upper body guy. So I was a big upper body guy, which is like some more like flashy moves and everything. And I got pretty good at my upper body stuff. And now I'm like super intrigued by like leg attacks, and I feel like that's like backwards as opposed to what everybody else does. Everybody starts with like, you know, their outside single and their high crotch, and then they do some Greco and they get good at their upper body. So they're interested in doing that stuff. But it's kind of like backwards for me. So like I kind of like am diving back into just doing simple movements, but I always have those little flashy moves as kind of like a muscle memory backup that just pay off when I need them.
Gotcha. Okay. And then when you actually book a fight, right? You have your opponent, you know who you're going to be fighting, you have a date set. How does your mentality change? Like what do you do differently once you have that set in terms of your training or your diet or just the way that you prepare, from day to day?
Um, so it's not much of a difference. You know, when I'm not on lockdown in my house, I'm in the gym. I'm in the gym about 5 days a week, um, at least a couple times a day. So I like to get in there, get after it, regardless of how it's going. I'll step it up a little bit in working on some specifics, um, getting a little bit more specific drilling in. But it's not too much of a difference. And I don't know. A lot of people get like kind of psyched up about fighting somebody, looking into them real hard. I like to pretty much just kind of see what stance they're gonna come out in. I'll watch like a fight or two, but I don't get too deep into it. Um, when it comes down to it, like up to a fight, I don't really care too much about the dude. I mean, we're all kind of working toward the same goal. It's just right when that right when I'm about to go out, I'm just kind of mad that this guy thinks he can come out and beat me, regardless of how good he is. I know I put all that work in, and I'm just kind of mad and ready to get it over with.
So you talk about when the cage door closes, you're mad. So would you say that you fight angry when you're in the
Yeah,
cage?
I'm not angry. It's just think about all the work you put in for that long period of time, and there's somebody out there who thinks that they can come take that from you, and it's just like it's hard to be able to let somebody do that to you, you know. So like I'm here mad that no disrespect to anybody. I'm here mad this guy thinks he can come here and beat me, you know.
Got you. Okay. For sure. Yeah, it makes sense. Now, before you have that fight, you're in the back. You go through the rules meeting, and then, you got a couple fights till your fight. What's going through your mind prior to your warm up, and then what kind of warm up do you like to do before you walk out?
I'm just kind of chilling there. I'm always my brother's always there with me. We're usually kind of goofy, kind of hanging out in the back, kind of joking around. But I don't know. I'm peeing a lot. You know, I'm trying to get all the fluids in. I'm running to the bathroom all the time. But yeah, I'll kind of peek out. I like to watch the fights when I can, depending on what kind of show I'm at. You kind of got to walk out the back for that. But like 2 fights before, I'll start kind of warming up, get some good kicks going. Uh, I found out through all my years of like wrestling and stuff, I'm not crazy into like a huge like warm up. I like kind of get a good sweat going, and then I just kind of pace and give myself a little bit of a shakeout, and I feel kind of fresh when I go out there. That might be a little bit different when I get a little bit older, because right now I can just kind of show up to the gym and start rolling. But one of these days I might have to like warm up a little bit more.
Yeah, we got time though.
Yeah.
If I'm not there, you're not there.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So then you get done your warm up, right? And they say, Carr, you're on deck. You go to the on deck circle, and you're waiting for your music to drop. How do you pick, the music that you walk out to? I know a lot of fighters put a lot of thought into that. Anything special that you do for these songs?
I mean, pretty much how it goes. Like, I'm not going for some song that's gonna make the crowd think I'm like some like big bad dude that's walking out. It's like pretty much the song I listen to most every day that I'm going to the gym. I hear it right before I go in the gym. I probably play it during the training session, and everybody like yells at me and tells me they don't like the music I'm playing. But it's pretty much the it's like my most listened to song in that fight camp. It's just like I can't get out of my head. And that's my song going into training. So like it's kind of puts me where I need to be right before I go in to get training. It could be something goofy. I walked out to Born in the USA one time. Like I was listening to Born in the USA. Actually, I walked out to that song because my brother said he'd buy me a pizza if I did. So, yeah, it's not a big deal to me. It's usually just the song I listen to the most, but it always kind of sets me in that mode to get ready to go scrap.
Right on. Do you remember what kind of pizza he bought you?
Yeah, I was actually kind of mad. He bought me like Domino's. I wanted something a little bit more legit, but
next time.
It is what it is.
All right. So we're going to switch gears here a little bit. I'm going to ask you just a couple questions, random stuff, just off the top of your head. We get some fast facts about Christian Carr. So first one, what's your favorite food?
Pizza.
And any special place where you like to get it?
Parma Pizza here in Landishville. That's my favorite pizza spot.
Right on. Now, I know the answer to this, but a lot of other people might not. What's your favorite movie?
Coraline.
And that's why you named your dog Cora?
Yep.
Right on.
But nobody likes that movie. I don't know how many friends I have I tell to watch it, and they think I'm an idiot for liking it. But my favorite movie, and I'm not changing my mind.
Coraline. Got it. All right. What's your favorite holiday?
I don't know. I like Easter. I like springtime, and my mom really likes Easter, so she's always happy around Easter time. We always have everybody over to my house, so that's fun.
Got you. All right, so we'll go with Easter. Favorite cartoon character?
Favorite cartoon character? Does Coraline count? I mean, she's like stop motion. No, I'm not gonna lie. I like SpongeBob. I remember I prided myself till about like 2017 on watching like every SpongeBob episode, but I don't really watch TV anymore, so I'm a little off the track for that.
All right, and the last one. We're going to exclude Chick-fil-A because I know that's everybody's favorite. So what's your favorite quick service restaurant? So it's got to have a drive-through. Not Chick-fil-A.
For all my Philly people that are watching, Sheetz is a ton better than Wawa, and some of them have drive-throughs, so I like Sheetz.
We'll go Sheetz. Got you. Okay. And then a couple other questions. So if you could go to dinner, sit down, have dinner with any fictional character, who would you choose?
I don't know. I feel like Peter Griffin would be something pretty funny.
All right, Peter Griffin. And then if you could watch two celebrities fight in the UFC octagon, championship rounds, 5x5, what two celebrities would you want to see fight? And then who do you think would win?
I'd like to see John Cena and Dave Bautista really go at it. Two WWE wrestlers who are decent actors. But then they really have to throw down. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
And then who do you think would win?
Maybe Bautista because he actually trains a little bit, but I don't know because he's not that good still. But
he's not. You're right. We both saw the videos.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last one, I'll let you go. If you could have one type of cheese for the rest of your life, what kind of cheese would that be?
Pepper jack.
Pepper jack cheese.
Yes,
easy answer.
Or mozzarella.
All right. Or mozzarella. Then you could have pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Pepper jack pizza.
All right. So that's all I got today, Christian. Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Nope. But pretty much just shout out to my family, all my training partners. Love you, Mom. Thanks for having me.
That's Christian, Strictly Business Carr, interview with MMA Tee Company. Stay safe, Christian.
Yes, sir.